What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so I was doing a few things, and usually when I'm doing a few things, I like to listen to podcasts, music, um, games, different stuff like that. Um, this came to mind. I was wondering, what are some of the things that you would ask someone if you were out on a date? And the reason why I asked that is because I like first dates. What I don't like about first dates is the whole Me Too thing. It's like a whole questionnaire. Like, I understand you got to get to know someone, but at the same time, it gets boring. It's like, I, that's the whole thing. I know I would have to get to know someone, right? But at the same time, I'm still going to be iffy because a person's only going to tell me what they want me to know. And that's something that always makes me doubt what a person is saying to me in the first place because I'm like, if I ask if you have any kids, and you say no, then my next question would be, well, why not? The reason why I wouldn't want to know, the reason why I want to know why a female is not having any kids or does not have any kids is because, like, yo, so is there something wrong with your scheduling? Is there something wrong? Period. It's like, I don't know. It nowadays find more people that are out there and they're just young and dumb and full of cum, and to come across somebody who don't have any kids, it's like, okay, so are you just that focused in life? You know what I mean? Because, like I say, it's hard to find single women without any kids. Another question I would be curious about would be trauma. Have they had any trauma in their life? And if so, what have they done as far as to fix it? I would also ask, as a follow up to that question, do you believe um in therapy, like emotional therapy? Um, and I think that's an important question because let's say you haven't fixed that trauma in your life, then I would want to know, have it been, has that trauma showed its face while in a relationship? And I would also want to know if that person is afraid of relationships or are they tired of relationships? And if they're tired of relationships, then why are they dating? You know, as far as the job goes, yeah, that would be cool. What I would also want to know, what do they spend the money on? I understand, the job. You get a job, for your personal shit like bills, uh, clothes, food. Well, I guess I wouldn't ask a question like that. I guess the question would be more to besides the things that you need in life, your necessities. What are you spending your money on? Do you pamper yourself or do you trick around? They say it ain't tricking if you got it, but I don't know. I also want to know questions like when you do trick around, do you throw it in the person's face? That right there, that bothers the shit out of me. Um, um, I think, sorry, I think when I'm out on a date, I don't really want to be distracted with being uncomfortable, and having uncomfortable conversations. That takes away from being able to just chill. And I think being able to be comfortable with a person and chilling out, you know, it's more like having a conversation. And when you vibe in with somebody, you're gonna say what's on your mind, and you'll end up, going into the waters where if it was a question, you might be hesitant. But when you're following the vibe, you might say some things that you might not have usually said, and that might impress you. You know what I mean? So you wouldn't be able to tell if you are in that vibe if you're constantly defending yourself or feeling like you need to defend yourself. Because, a person asks you these questions, you're like, damn, why do you want to know? Instead of, it's like verses. I want you to know this. I mean, I'm nervous about telling you this, but I really want you to know this. You make me feel at ease telling you this. You make me feel like I could talk to you. That type of shit. So, yeah, do you like to date? Being out on a date and like dating is two different things. Like I said, I like dating. I think that the way that you meet a person, um, and the way that your first date goes, it's like the way that you captivate a person is the way that the relationship should continue to go. It's like captivating someone each day. It shouldn't be such a job, especially if you were being real in the first place. It's like, do you get all doddled up Or, are you just like, damn, I'm just straight from work. And then would you want to go on a date with someone who wants you to be all doddled up? Or would you want to go on a date with someone who takes you as you are? So these first dates, they open the door to so many things, icebreakers, and, it's like, it's like one night stands. You know what I mean? When you wake up, you know, or when I wake up with someone, I want to see what they look like. You know what I mean? Versus the way they was when I met them. Because I want to meet someone and I want to feel like, damn, when I wake up with you, I want you to look the same. But if I wake up with you and, or your makeup is gone and your hair is out of place, am I still going to be attracted to that? It's like, I'm the type of person where I used to, look kind of rough every now and then. Just because I would want somebody to underestimate me, but still give me a chance. Because I cleaned up well. I attracted people when I did clean up. So it's like, I don't want to give anybody any false reading. So, let me attract you when I'm not looking my best. And so I would purposely, let my hair grow out and, I would still brush the hair on my face. And I would still, brush my hair when it's growing out. But you would see that, I hadn't had a haircut in a while or maybe you could see that, but you still liked it. You know what I mean? And I could tell you, hey, I ain't even cut my hair in a while. You know what I'm saying? To see what that woman's going to say. It's like first dates, second dates, third dates. They can tell you a lot about a person if that person is being honest with you. If they're comfortable in their own skin, then that should really, really be shown. Um, so my question is to you, from what I just said, from the things that I'm talking about, how are you on your first dates and what are you looking for? With that being said, with that question out there, I'm gonna end this video and I'm Podrey. Thanks for checking me out. And have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning. Peace.
I don't get it, baby. You tell me to listen and to understand where you're coming from. But sorry, girl, I can't fit in your shoes. No, I'm not the best.